All right, let's talk about a job you think you know, but you probably have no idea. We're going to pull back the curtain on accounting and see if it's really just, spreadsheets and sheer boredom.
And we really have to start with the big stereotype, right? The one David Foster Wallace just nailed in his book, The Pale King. He wrote that the job is so mind-numbingly dull that you literally get boredom survival training. Can you imagine?
So that's the reputation it's got. But if that's really the whole story, then how come accounting is, like, the secret weapon behind some of the most exciting stories we see out there?
Yeah, that's what people think, anyway. But Hollywood? Hollywood has a very different take, a much more exciting one.
And trust me, when Hollywood disagrees, it goes big. For years, writers and directors have looked at accountants and seen something else entirely. They've turned them into these complex heroes, these brilliant detectives.
I mean, look at this. This is the modern fictional accountant in a nutshell. You've got Ben Affleck in The Accountant. He's not just some numbers whiz, the guy's a lethal assassin. It's why one critic said he was as deadly with a calculator as a Glock. What a line, right?
And the list? It just gets wilder. You've got accountants washing $500 million for a drug boss in Ozark. You've got him calling a global economic crisis in The Big Short, uncovering crypto conspiracies, solving murders between audits. And it even jumps genres, saving a whole fantasy world in one series. And get this, there's even a vampire accountant. A vampire. Seriously. So, what gives?
Right? All of this can't just be made up. Where there's this much smoke, there has to be some fire. There's got to be a little nugget of truth in there somewhere. Something real that makes these stories feel so believable.
Well, the answer is actually found in a very specific, very high-stakes part of the accounting world. It's the real-life inspiration for pretty much all of this Hollywood action. And here it is, forensic accounting. Now, this is not your everyday tax prep, not even close. This is all about investigating. It's about looking behind the numbers to find out what's really going on. Think of it as being a detective, but your crime scene is a balance sheet.
So to really get what makes it different, let's break it down. A regular auditor, their job is to make sure everything's accurate, that the rules are followed. They'll usually just look at a sample of the data. But a forensic accountant, they walk in assuming something's already wrong, that a crime might have been committed. So they don't sample. They look at everything, every single detail.
Here's another way to think about it, and I love this quote from investigator Tom Golden. He calls them the Navy SEALs of the accounting industry. I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? They're the elite, the specialists you call in for the absolute toughest jobs, when the truth is hidden somewhere in a mountain of numbers.
So what kind of missions are these financial Navy SEALs actually going on? Let's get out of the fiction and look at some real-world cases.
Okay, so their tools might be a calculator and a spreadsheet instead of, a dusting kit for fingerprints, but the mission is exactly the same. They trace transactions, they follow the money, and they uncover, everything from these super complex schemes all the way down to just plain, simple theft. And this is where all that Hollywood fantasy crashes right into hard reality. These folks aren't just finding numbers, they're fighting for justice. They're the ones who trace millions of dollars to expose a Ponzi scheme and stop people from losing their life savings. They're the ones who dig through purchasing records to find an employee taking kickbacks. They'll even go through a CEO's credit card statements line by line to prove they were misusing charity funds. This happens in every single industry. From real estate to energy, they are truly on the front lines.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. What's the real connection between the Hollywood hero and the actual investigator with a calculator?
In the movies, they're stopping supervillains and washing cartel cash. But in the real world, they're stopping Ponzi schemes and tracing stolen money so they can testify in court. And let me tell you, the stakes are just as high. We're talking about people's life savings, a company's future, and that core skill, following the money to get to the truth, it's exactly the same.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? First off, that whole boring accountant thing, it's a myth. It's just flat out wrong. There is a thrilling, investigative side to this job. And all those skills you see in the movies, following the money, sniffing out corruption, those are 100% real tools of the trade. And honestly, sometimes the truth they find buried in the numbers is way stranger than anything Hollywood could dream up.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? Every single number tells a story. You just have to know how to read it. And as we've just seen, some of those stories, they're full-blown thrillers, just waiting for the right person to come along and finally turn the page.